It's been a while, and a lot has changed. Hello YouTube, this is Maul, and do you remember last year I made a video about ReZero X Pokémon, which was a continuation of my Pokémon X Isekai Quartet series, which I made the previous video for that 2 years prior. Now it's been 3 years since that video came out. We are in 2023, folks. This is scaring me. This time we have the third out of the 4 shows that I will be mainly doing, Tanya the Evil, or YOUJO SENKI. And this one was one of the weirdest ones to do. They have a lot of characters that make main appearances within Isekai Quartet, but most of the characters don't even have character. Like, it might be funny or comedic at times, but at the moment, they are just there. They're an army. So, you're kind of gonna have this problem. So, I have not given everyone a full team of 6. I've only done 4 main characters and 2 of them are even students, which is hilarious. And I've introduced what I'm calling Empire Mons, which are just a set of Pokemon that just like can be hired out at any given time. So you could just hire these Pokemon if you're in the Empire and you could just use them at any time. It's not an exact like those are always your teams. They're just kind of mascot, and they're the best that the army has. So I guess I'm gonna have to start with the Empire Mon and then I'll go into the main characters. For the Empire Mon, I have chosen a bunch of Pokemon. At the moment, I think I've got 9. I was gonna do 10, but 10, I couldn't think of a 10th Pokemon. Although, I guess if you guys thought of any Pokemon that could work, they would probably work as well. The Pokemon I've chosen are Inteleon, Dondozo, Octillery, Dreepy, Dracloak, Phalanx, Skarmory, Scizor, and Blastoise. Most of these kind of are like, yeah, they would fit in an army, like Inteleon and Octillery, Dracloak and Dreepy are also like it's kind of like a soldier, and then a soldier on top of another soldier, which also kind of works with the aerial mage battalions. But also then you have Dragapult, which is kind of shooting. But I didn't put Dragapult in the Empire Mons. You'll understand why later. Of course, you got a couple flying Pokemon like Skarmory also in there. Blastoise also uses guns. Scizor, I kind of just thought it felt like it made a lot of sense. Some of these I do not remember why I put them in here. And of course, Dondozo, it works later on as well. And yeah, Phalanx, it's kind of like the most army Pokemon I could think of. You know, being a group of mini soldiers. Although they're more physical, we can adapt. First, we have Tanya. And the first Pokemon I chose for Tanya is the lookalike Pokemon, which I thought was, funnily enough, Esper. It's the eyes, man. It's the eyes. And it's definitely going to be a female Esper as well. Also, I gave her Armarouge because I felt like Armarouge made more sense for Tanya than an Empire Mon, with the way Armor Cannon charges up. And plus, it's also Psychic, which I feel like kind of goes a bit with the sort of God side of things. Next, I chose Mimikyu because Mimikyu, I'm gonna be honest, is very, very perfect for Tanya. Mimikyu, of course, it's a cute costume on the outside, but there's like an unviewable evil underneath, which it's kind of like Tanya in a way. a cute girl on the outside, but there is such a maniacal brain on the inside that honestly, if you knew the person Tanya fully was, you'd honestly be extremely confused, but also extremely horrified. I gave her a Tatsugiri, which again goes back to that Dondozo I mentioned earlier. This Tatsugiri is in its curly form, which increases the attack, I believe. So I feel like that makes sense if you're in the front lines. you're kind of in the front lines, you want to boost the Donzozo's attack, and also it's a commander Pokemon, so since it's one of the only Pokemon with the ability Commander, I thought it just made a lot more sense. And then I gave her Silvally. Silvally is a fake god, just like Being X is. I feel like she would call this thing Being X just because. Arceus was, of course, the god of Pokemon, but because the Earth Foundation wanted to make basically a replica of the god of all Pokemon, they created Silvally. And that would make a lot more sense if we gave it to a Pokemon, if we gave it to Tanya. It's the fake god. It makes a lot more sense. Character. Yeah, this is what I meant about the Empire Mons. Victoria is basically got two Pokemon, being Lilligant and Unpheasant as a female. And that is it. I feel like it kind of gives that more feminine Pokemon, but then still she's gonna have 3 Empire Mons, so she's at least got part of the army with her. And also, if you're wondering, all the other classmates, basically all of the 302nd are just Empire Mons, probably like 3 to 5 each. Maybe 3, probably. I guess kind of 3 in my eyes. I feel like they would kind of only use 3. This was the shortest one of them all. Then we have Ragen. How do you say it? I don't remember how you say it. Erich von Regran. I am not German. Quick future Maul segment here. Didn't think I was gonna make this, but it was on that day that I recorded it that I actually found out that this is what he looks like in any of the media other than the anime. This made me appreciate how much I like the anime design, but this is so different to me. I gave him 5 Pokemon, and I feel like I was going to do 6, but then I was like struggling on the 6th Pokemon. I also made this last minute. Bishop will relate later, but I feel like, you know, he's a good kind of standing Pokemon if he needed some extra self-defense. Kadabra, I was going to do Alakazam for the IQ idea, but then I thought, you know what? I feel like this guy would never even trade Kadabra. This is like one of the Pokemon he's had for a while. So yeah, he hasn't traded Kadabra. It's still a Kadabra. Tatsugiri Droopy, I believe, increases Dondozo's defense. So as a commander in maybe a situation, he would increase Dondozo's defense so we can at least fortify a defense. Watchog, I just feel like it's a very strict Pokemon. You know, when I look at this, I'm like, you're so strict. Vespiquen is also like, of course, if you know its moves, it's a order Pokemon. It tells like, use attack order, use defense order, that sort of idea. It's just doing that, basically. I feel like it was good also commanding Pokemon for you. I told you this video would be short, we're already on the last guy. Rudestorf has... Oh, Lord, he has some Pokemon. First of all, he had a King Gambit. Again, goes back to that bitch job, but he's like the top of this whole situation. It also really heavily works in the case of Isekai Quartet, as he is the principal of this school, so he's kind of just sitting in a chair menacingly, and I think this works for him. So yeah, King Gambit, good Pokemon. It's also one of my favorites, but that's another thing for another time that will never come. Torkoal and Galarian Weezing. YOUJO gets into why I chose these Pokemon. I know Galarian Weezing is actually making smoke that kind of, well, making air that is actually depolluting and cleaning the air, but it's still smoking. Then we have Dragapult, going back to those Empire Mons when we mentioned Dreepy and Dracloak. Yes, this is why he has the Dragapult that just shoots off his little soldiers into the war. Slowking, I just felt like was a very high IQ Pokemon as well. I did look into that. I know Galarian Slowking is actually one of the smartest, I think, but I felt like maybe I'll just stick to regular Slowking. And then he has Genesect, just casually. Yeah, I told you it was not going to be a long one because unfortunately a lot of Tanya's characters don't really have too much character. If you have your own, I guess, updates / ideas and suggestions that I could have made to this or added to a character, feel free to suggest it in the comments below. Other than that, I guess I might be seeing you next year. I wonder how much I'll be changed by then. Bye.